Hi, in this episode, I am walking back to a surprise nomination to attend a educational video production boot camp organized by the University Grants Commission in the EMRC or EMMRC of the University of Poona in Ganesh Kent. This surprise nomination happened in the planning director's office, Mr. V.V. Mani's office, way back in 1985, somewhere along the second week of the month of April. Perhaps Mr. V.V. Mani had tried to identify two teachers in the University of Kerala in any one of the departments to be nominated for this boot camp of educational video production or educational videography, let us say that. And this duration was actually 6 weeks, and all the expenditures related to this training program will be met by UGC. All that the University of Kerala will have to do is to provide two humans from the university academic group. And because this program was 6 weeks long, most of the young as well as not so young teachers did not accept the offer. But finally, it was a call from Mani's office to the Department of Geology that made my participation possible. Mani's office called me and said, "Sir, why don't you come over to planning office? Director would like to talk to you." I said, "I have a class until 4 o'clock. I will be there after 4. Say like 4. That will be plenty, sir." So then I drove back after 4 o'clock to the Palam office, walked up the stairs, made a left turn, and there is the office of Mr. Mani, planning director of the University of Kerala. V.V. Mani used to be a teacher somewhere along in one of the SN colleges, but of course, he had a special privilege to come and work as the director of planning in the university. Well, things work very differently right from the very early days of the university. So when I just was approaching the door of the office, I saw Dr. Kalesh Raj, a reader in biochemistry and a good friend of mine. I asked Mr. Kalesh Raj, why are you there? He said, I came here for some special business. I said, all right, I'm going to see this gentleman, Mr. Mani. So I walked in, and the office clerk said, "Sir, please go in, sir is waiting for you." So I went and sat in one of the guest chairs and wished good evening and asked why was I called in an urgent style. And then he said, "No, not only you, I have called Kalesh Raj of biochemistry also." Then I said, "That gentleman is waiting outside." So immediately a person went out and called in Dr. Kalesh Raj. The Kalesh Raj also came in. And the first question was, can you, both of us, leave tomorrow morning to Poona so that you will be there on the day after tomorrow morning to attend a training program, or the so-called boot camp these days, it is called, in educational videography. And Kalesh Raj was just glanced at my face, and I said, "No, absolutely no problem. I will go tomorrow morning. I will take a Bangalore Express I'll reach by 9 o'clock or quarter to 9 in Mangalore. From there, I can take a bus. Then Kaleshwar has also just agreed to go for the trip. Then one other thing I wanted to point out to Mr. Mani was that, he has to do whatever that is required to issue a university order about deputing us to go to this training program. Well, very quickly, we got out of the office because the next day morning I had to leave. But then, those days, Harikutan just completed his 10th class exam, and it was only play and just sleep or, no studies. Well, of course, after the exam, what do you worry about it? And then, of course, Geeta, I told, I'm going tomorrow morning to Mangalore, and it was not at all a surprise to her because most of the trips are, like that only. And the purpose of going out to Poona is such and such. So the next morning around 5 o'clock, I picked up my bag and got an auto rickshaw from Shastamangalam to the central station, and there I met Kaleshwar. Both of us purchased a ticket each to Mangalore. And, we had been talking and watching through the windows, whatever. And finally around 9 o'clock in the evening, the train pulled into the Mangalore station. Those days, Mangalore station is the terminus. There is no what is called the connection to Mumbai. Okay, that happened only during the George Fernandez days. From there, we got off the train. We walked up the little hill slope up to Kempegowda Circle, and from there we took an auto to the so-called bus stand, central bus station. And we reached there by about 9:15 or 9:30 in the evening, late in the evening. And we purchased 2 tickets to Poona. And in the express bus that is supposed to leave at 10:30. And after buying the ticket, we went and ate something for dinner, something like for our dinner. It is not a full dinner, something to munch. And then sat in the bus, and around 5:30 in the morning, we were in Poona and in the what is called stop from where our what is called the Poona University campus, Ganesh Kindi is close. It's called Deccan Dimkhana. And of course, once we got off to the bus, obviously the auto rickshaw fellows will come and crowd around us, and we said that we are planning to go to the university campus. We want to go to Educational Media Research Center. Those days it is called Educational Media Research Center. Now it is called Educational Multimedia Research Center, and so it is called EMRC. Fine. So we went to EMRC those days. The security man told our accommodation is in so-and-so hostel, and which this auto driver knew quite well. And we then, it is only 5 minutes from that EMRC complex to the hostel by an auto. So once we went in there was a man asleep on the floor of the what is called the registration desk. Not on the floor, in the chair or whatever. Then we woke him up, and he said, okay. He opened the visitors, whatever, the register. We wrote our names, affiliation, etc. And he came along with us with a key to a room, a double room, where I and Kaleshwar stayed for 6 whole weeks during our stay for the training in educational videography. Well, of course, there was a man in the early morning watching us. He was in a white pajama and white kurta, a lean man, taller than me. And he overheard our Malayalam words, and he approached us and said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Sir, we are from University of Kerala." "I see, I am Gopalkrishnan. I am also attending this session. So what you do is you get ready. Our breakfast is by 7:30, and we have to finish our breakfast and be in the building at least by about 8:15. We will talk about it later. So we got ready, and Gopalakrishnan sir also accompanied us to the dinner for the to the canteen of the guest house or the hostel, and we had something to eat there. And during the conversation or during the eating process, Gopalakrishnan sir said that the whole show was inaugurated the previous day, and the next day or today, Gopalakrishnan sir said the first item in the schedule given is camera straight. Then what is camera straight? Well, Gopalakrishnan sir told us, I call Gopalakrishnan sir, he's a great man, he's no more. He used to be in the Delhi University system as a professor of physics, as well as he had written a best-selling atomic and nuclear physics, a textbook, and was published by John Wiley. Finally, this book appeared in what is called a soft copy version also. And something about Mr. Gopalakrishnan, our Professor Gopalakrishnan, will be worthwhile here. Gopalakrishnan was a contemporary of M.G.K. Menon and Professor Yashpal, Professor M.G.K. Menon and Professor Yashpal in the TIFR, or Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. Gopalakrishnan sir had a 1 year or so doctoral tenure in the Princeton University. He came back and joined what is called the Delhi University system, and continued. Of course, Yashpal, he also went teaching, and M.G.K. Menon actually started with the Tata Institute, continued in the Tata Institute only. So Gopalakrishnan sir told something briefly about what is camera straight. Then I said, yeah, no problem, we will do that. Then Kalesharaj was wondering about, what is camera straight, how to speak, what to speak about, and so on. I told Kalesharaj that, I'm going to talk about what is called the joy of jogging. Because those days, right from my 20s on, I have been a jogger in Trivandrum streets, and I continued until I retired. So, my point was about, what is the use of jogging, how to jog, how long you jog, and how you enjoy the jogging, how to enjoy jogging, what are the advantages, health advantages of jogging, so on and so forth. So these things, and like Gopalakrishnan sir said, we have to be, at least 3 minutes to 4 minutes in this presentation, because there are 40 people in this group drawn from different parts of India. So Kalesharaj, I think, he also chose naturally a topic, and we proceeded to the what is called the EMRC building, and I and Kalesharaj then walked over to the director's office, Mr. Dr. Deshpande, who happened to be a professor of English before being appointed as the director of the EMRC Poona. And we introduced, it was only a formal thing. And then he said that we will have to fill out certain forms for our registration and our TADA, etc., because the entire expenditure was to be paid off by the University Grants Commission. And of course, the 40 people had to use at least do a camera straight for 3 minutes to 4 minutes. So once it was done, it was very close to 12:30 when the whole, the entire, participant completed their what is called camera straight. Of course, interestingly, some people were very fond of speaking in Hindi, and still others were. Once a person talks in Hindi, from the Hindi belt, no Bengali will ever talk in English. He will also speak in Bengali only. Of course, in the afternoon. What was there was the faculty there, the trainers rather, they were drawn from the what is called the Thames Television Institute, and was provided by the British Council of India on a request from the University Grants Commission. And of course, Professor Yashpal was there as far as the countrywide classroom proposal was initiated. And Gopalakrishnan was actually, after his retirement, Gopalakrishnan had an office in the present day Jamia University. Those days it was called the Jamia Millia Islamia, and Gopalakrishnan used to live very close to, in a flat very close to the Jamia Millia. And in his office, he had 2 or 3 assistants, small women, and 2 of the women also came down for this training. What is Gopalakrishnan doing there with the countrywide classroom is very simple. Those days, English educational tapes in English language or with subtitles in English were given away for use and return by the American embassy and, of course, naturally the British High Commission. And Gopalakrishnan will watch all these videos and select some of the videos that are most suitable for an Indian student audience in the colleges and universities. That was Gopalakrishna's post-retirement job. Anyway, in other words, Gopalakrishnan is actually an observer and not a participant. But on the other hand, Gopalakrishnan actively participated in all the activities along with the participants. So in the afternoon, the faculty told us what is the wrong thing, how you could have corrected it, and what should be you be care about while doing a camera straight, etc., and so on and so forth. And then it was graded, and naturally a grade will be awarded, a score will be awarded, not a score, a grade. Most of us got B's and a few got A's. And then the next day onwards, our program was how to write a story, how to visualize a story, how to make a script for that story before shooting, and how to prepare a shooting script out of the script, and then how to do the real shooting of our collection of the videos, and then goes to the editing desk, and how to put together one show with the voiceover, captions, and credits, and also the first half a minute or so about what it is all about, who made it, how it was made, etc., who were all involved. So this is what we were trained, and this went on. Actually, it was a very good training, and then what we did, we were asked to provide a story and a script. Every participant had to do that. I also made one, and Kalesh Raj, everybody. But then what we did, what the faculty did, the Thames television trainers, they wanted us to listen to the story and the script, etc., and then rate all these. In other words, a peer evaluation of the script provided by each participant. And out of that, we selected, obviously, 5 top-ranked scripts. So mine was not selected. Of course, what I was doing was, something about what is called zeolites in the Deccan traps. And these are actually ornamental stones. And what is it, how is it, where is it, and how to get it, etc., was my story. Because if it is accepted for shooting, I will have to go to some of the quarries around Poona in the Deccan traps. It is little out of the town. No doubt about it, because quarries are not inside the town. And of course, I was a lone geologist, and there was no one to appreciate my story or the storyline. Anyway, that's okay. Then what I did, my group means I, Kalesh Raj, and some others. We had a lady in our group who was a principal of a ladies' college in Poona town, and her husband was a director of the Central Water Power Research Institute, CWPRS Poona. And of course, she was actually made a script actually about the people, children in the slum, and how they are trained or how they are motivated to go to school, and was it appropriate or inappropriate. That is something very attractive, because India is actually had a lot of poor people, and everyone has a soft corner for poor people, no doubt about it. And even our excelled economists of Indian origin excelled themselves in foreign universities by looking at the poverty situation in India. It has been the history, it has been the current practice also. even Nobel accreditation, Nobel Prize was conferred on such studies, starting with Amartya Sen and so on and so forth. Anyway, so we completed this exercise, and then of course the next part was going over to, okay, one thing about the training. In the afternoon, we will be watching on the several videotapes. These people, 3 suitcases full of videotapes in VHS format was brought by the trainers from the Thames Television Institute. We will be watching it. So finally, what happens? So, the course, we shot it, all the 5 groups, different groups, edited, gave voiceover, gave thanks and the credits and everything was there. And all the 5 videotapes in VHS format will be aired by the Doordarshan in their program called Countrywide Classroom. But then, of course, we parted. We came down back to Trivandrum, and in between, Hari Kuttan had on his own sought admission in the intermediate college because he did very well in the 10th class exam. So he himself went filled out the application and then joined the college. Intermediate college, or they now called Arts College. When he joined also, it was called Arts College. When he came back to Kariyottam, the story is different. There was actually, as part of the training program, there is a University Grants Commission's grant of 1 video camera and 1 color television to this University of Kerala, which was represented in the training program. You know what happened? When we came down here, there was big squabble in the university, especially in the people in the journalism department, to get the camera and the television, unfortunately. So what the university did, but according to the UGC condition, it will go only to those people who had attended this course. So the university solved this squabble by sitting quiet and not answering to the letters coming from the UGC to process the supply of a video camera and VHS camera, 3 to 5 lakhs worth, and a television. So that actually ended as a futile experiment. Thank you.